This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And on this special edition of Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to the program, Carolyn Goodman. She heads up the Meadows School and is also the wife of the mayor of Las Vegas. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, we'll see when you at the end of the interview. You run the Meadows. You run the Meadows School. Would you explain just briefly what the Meadows School is?
It's a college preparatory, non-profit, independent school for children here in Southern Nevada for preschool through 12th grade. Really preparing all the children for college, four-year colleges and universities.
And how many students do you have on campus?
Approximately 900, and all on a 40-acre parcel up in the Summerlin area.
Okay, we want to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we want to ask you what things have helped make your school a success and how those things could be translated into the public school system. We'll be right back with Carolyn Goodman on Nevada Newsmakers right after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Taharino Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Taharino Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Taharino Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beefsteaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, along with Paul Enos, we're talking to Carolyn Goodman, who heads up the Meadows School.
Mrs. Goodman, back before Carlos Garcia took over the Clark County School District, there was some talk about, with your success at the Meadows School, you might be the right person to step into that job. Now with Carlos leaving, is that something you would consider?
I haven't even given a thought. Nobody's ever said a word to me. In fact, nobody from the district's even been out to our school. So I don't know where that came from. Is that my husband saying things again? Sounds like him.
He was certainly bragging on our program a week or so ago. Let me ask you this. Your school has had some great successes. Would you describe some of the successes for us?
I just think, you know, with the children going on in a wonderful environment where they can concentrate on learning or having opportunities to do theater or different types of advanced technology, participate in sports, but basically to learn the basics in education so they're competitive with the international group as they seek placement for college or universities. And I think it's just an opportunity where education in its purest form is taking place, and there aren't all these other problems with which students and parents have to deal as they're trying to give their children an opportunity to prepare for life.
Is there a great deal of parental involvement required to be at your school?
Yes, because we really feel a successful program is a three-way partnership, if you can say that. The child, obviously, the parent, and the school. And we do expect one or both parents to be involved when they are called upon or just in support of their children, whether they're in the theater, in the vocal group, a debate, or athletics, or being asked just to hear a lower school child on reading day, and also to come in and be participatory in trying to help children who are experiencing some kind of difficulty, to help them work through that with a positive plan.
Mrs. Goodman, if I'm a parent who wants to send my kid to the Meadows School, how do I go about that? Would my child have to take a qualifying test? Or is it I understand it's a private school, but could you kind of go into the process of how a child gets into your school?
Yes, I mean, actually, it's quite simple, and I think it's sort of aligned to what's going on in the public school system with the magnet schools. Yes, we do have testing, because what we're about is the success of each child, and our program is different from other programs, and we want children to be successful as they go through it. So it's matching for that particular child. There is interview testing at the entry level in kindergarten, not for the preschool. Preschool, you just pay, and if there's a space, you're in. But as far as the rest of the school, and depending what level they come in, there's always testing, past curricular achievement, transcripts, things like that. But we also have, which we're always asked about, we have a very nice socioeconomic diversity at the Meadows. And from the founding of the school, we were very much concerned that we have a totally intercultural, interracial, socioeconomic group of students. So we're about 15 to 18% of our children are designated low-income families. And they also have to test. I mean, we're about children who are able and academically ambitious. We do have children who have some learning differences, but those learning differences are able to be handled by the child and the faculty and the parent, so it doesn't interfere with the learning. And the philosophy behind that is we really think all children come into this world the same way, and for those who have special needs, they deserve the right to have good special needs programs. So our school serves one purpose, and other schools in our community serve other purposes. But ours is strictly 100% college preparation, and that begins at the very beginning. And we begin everything at the kindergarten level. And so, yes, there's testing and interviewing throughout.
How does No Child Left Behind affect you?
We, again, you know, because we are what we would say is selecting our student body, we don't have a problem with the No Child Left Behind. And I think my personal feeling is no child should be left behind. What should happen is the child should be evaluated and find out where there are holes in their learning and trying to help them on an individual basis. I really believe the problem and why we opened the Meadows the way we did, we began at the beginning. There was an extreme call here in southern Nevada for high school to open, a private high school, a nonprofit private high school. But we realized it would take 25 years before we ever had a program that could be evaluated in its pure sense. So we decided, sad though it might be, we were going to start with the kindergarten through 6th grade program and build year upon year, because then we knew that we had a solid foundation, and we knew as the children matriculated through that program that they were going to all have a common base. And it goes back to the principle that when children come into this world, there they are, no clothing, nothing, just those beautiful little children. And so the sooner you can enter into their lives and the sooner you can have a program, the sooner there's an equal foundation. So the No Child Left Behind becomes a moot issue if you enter their lives as early as you possibly can. From my personal perspective, that would be a 2. I would love to see, I don't care where it is, I don't care in what district, I don't care in what socioeconomic level, if you could get those little children sometime at 2 years old and begin to establish a basic program for them that would be experiential, that would be a wonderful program to entice their curiosity, and isn't this great, let me try that one again. By the time they're at the kindergarten age, you're going to have ambitious children wanting to learn. And so your whole philosophy of no child left behind, it's not there. There's nothing to leave behind.
Okay, Carolyn, we've got to take a break here to make some money. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers with Carolyn Goodman right after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're talking with Carolyn Goodman, who runs the Meadows School, a private school in Las Vegas.
Carolyn, you said you had some frustrations with the Clark County School District. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Well, I think it was being a parent in the district years ago. Fortunately for Oscar and me, we had our 4 children in the public school system at George Harris Elementary with a superior educator by the name of Leor Cobley. And I said to her, you know, early entry with everything, this country's going, and I'm going back into the early 70s. I said, this country's going bilingual in Spanish. We need an immersion Spanish program immediately when these children come into your school. And she said, Mrs. Goodman, as much as I would like to accommodate you, this has to go through the Department of Education. So you need to go out there to Flamingo and make an appointment and talk to them. So I went out there and I was told, no, this is financing, this is budgetary, this has to go to the legislature. And I said, well, that's grand. My littlest one was going to be 40 years old by the time that this state wakes up to the fact that we're going to be bilingual in Spanish. And may I tell you, my youngest one's 32, and they're just now beginning to say, oh my, time for Spanish. And so whether people like it or not, to me, the more you can give children an education and prepare them for life, and in our community, Spanish is important, the more employable they become. I don't care who they are.
Let me ask you about suggestions that have been made on this program and elsewhere that the Clark County School District is just too large and it should be broken up. How do you feel about that?
You know, I have to tell you, I know what I know, and I sure know what I don't know. I have not seen their papers. I've not been asked to talk to anybody, and I think it would be totally inappropriate for me as Carolyn Goodman in a tiny little life to make a judgment call there. It is a huge school district. It's number 5 in the country. But then again, you know, you hear so many rumors about too much, too heavy in administration. I just know as a parent, and as parents, Oscar and I felt this is ridiculous. We want more for our children. And so that's why I went about establishing the school, for no other reason. It's just because by the time something changes, your child's grown, and I worked 9 years through the PTA and George Harris and other schools at Hyde Park and Clark, and nothing changed. Nothing. You had to beat your head against a wall to get anything to happen. And so it just got to the point where, you know, I'm stupid sometimes, but not that dumb. Let's just go ahead and just do it ourselves. And that's where it was, and there were so many parents out there that wanted exactly the same thing. And the key to quality education beyond the mission and the program are your wonderful, wonderful faculty. And there are fabulous faculty out here in the district, and all part of it, but I can't comment really because I'm not involved with it, and I think it would be inappropriate and ignorant of me to even try to answer that.
Okay, we got 30 seconds left. I've got to ask you, what is it like being married to the happiest mayor in the universe?
A total, wonderful, but challenging experience. He's no different from the day I met him back in college. He's wonderful fun. He loves the spotlight, as you know from being such a modest mayor. And as I told a group I spoke to one day about 2 years ago when I was out doing a speech, I said, I just want you all to know, my husband loves to be loved, and so every morning I get out of bed and I go to his side of the bed and I applaud for him. So he wakes up in a positive frame of mind. And may I tell you, nobody's luckier than to be married to my wonderful husband. He's simply brilliant. He's so well read. He loves Nevada. He loves northern Nevada. He loves the cow counties, and he adores southern Nevada and being mayor of Las Vegas. And it makes me happy to see him happy. And we have 4 great children that are happy too.
And would he be a great governor?
No. No, because being the governor here is somebody who needs to love numbers and loves budgets. Oscar loves people, and Oscar loves to touch people. And you'll always find Oscar back with the people who are the heartbeat of this community. He's not about numbers, and he's not about sitting down he'll work with politicians because that's part of the job, but he's about the citizen, about the community, about the people that are raising, who knows, wherever they are in Nevada, whatever they're doing. He's about the people.
Mrs. Goodman,
to be governor,
Mrs. Goodman, we are unfortunately out of time here on our satellite window.
Okay.
We would love to have you come back. We appreciate you being here. You're a great interview. Thank you so much for being on Nevada Newsmakers. We'll be right back after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Taharino Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Taharino Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Taharino Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, Safe Ride Home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe boating campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beef steaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we're joined by a terrific Power Pundit panel, as always. Teresa Benitez-Thompson is with us, a community activist. Alfredo Alonso with Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins. And Pam DuPre, Executive Director of the Washoe County Democratic Party. I was talking at the beginning of the week, quite vociferously, about what I thought was a really bogus report from the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada on the economic impacts on downtown Reno vis-a-vis the Stations Casino project in South Reno, and they were claiming that it would be anywhere from $14 to $30 million of impact on downtown Reno. All the people I talked to in downtown Reno and property yesterday said, we haven't even been discussing this, that's how little impact it made. And the city council went ahead and approved it by a large majority. It was 6-1 vote to change the zoning. Teresa, what do you think about this?
Well, I don't think there's that much of a threat. At least I think myself as a consumer, when I go to downtown, I'm going for different clubs and to wander through the trifecta of casinos there, and that's not something that South Reno, this Station Casino, is going to be offering me. If I go out there, it'd be because it's out there or where I live and it's close by. It's where I want to grab dinner and maybe drop a couple pennies, because I'm cheap, into the penny machine. But I don't see the two necessarily as direct threats or mutually exclusive. You choose downtown or you choose South Reno, and that's the end of it.
It just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And I still claim that the plan was carrying water for the Culinary Union, who are doing their absolute best to stir up trouble because they've had this ongoing feud with Stations Casinos for years now, because they won't unionize.
Which is fine. I mean, I think obviously they're going to have their disagreements, and those labor issues need to be hashed out separately. But anytime someone wants to put that much capital into this city, I don't see a downside to it. I'm still trying to figure out what the problem might be. I mean, again, I think those issues need to be brought out, and if culinary has some labor issues, I think they ought to be out in the public, and we ought to talk about them, debate them.
They should be, yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is a good project, and it helps Northern Nevada. I think it's a win-win.
Well, I think it is telling that the lone no vote on the city council was Dan Guston, who represents the downtown area. And, you know, I mean, I don't know that casinos, the downtown casino owners would necessarily get together and come up with a position on casino sprawl, if you will. I mean, it's not just this casino down south. There's, you know, there are controversy over the casino out in Spanish Springs. This is an issue in general that needs to be discussed. You know, what is the role of the citizens in this community in making these decisions? Casinos don't make a community. The people make a community.
No, but we elect the decision makers. I mean, that's, you know, a Republican form of government. You elect the people who are going to make those decisions, and if you don't like the decisions they make, they are accountable to the voters, and you kick them out of office.
Well, that's good then, Paul. That must mean that you don't support Prop 13 and the Tabor initiatives, because
no, I absolutely do.
Those decisions should be left to our elected officials.
Not that I don't. It's not so much those initiatives, the basis of them, but I absolutely support the initiative process. That is a way for the public to be able to redress issues that the legislature or that governing body has not done a good job over.
Well, the initiative process was set up for emergencies only. I mean, what we're doing is what yes, it is. What we are doing is what California is doing, and that is, and you saw how well it's worked this year, is to essentially legislate by petition. I think it's wrong. I think it takes the power away from the legislators, and I think it's a good way to bypass the whole process.
Well, you're absolutely right. That's why you have have that stopgap method in place, is to be able to bypass the process when the elected officials are not doing what people feel they should be doing.
They're elected every 2 years. Don't vote for them. That's the process.
Absolutely.
And citizens on local issues, when it comes to local issues before the City Council and the County Commission, citizens don't have that same option. They cannot bypass those decision makers through a petition process.
Pam, we know there are so many issues out there that are good ideas that you cannot get past a legislature. So to be able to have a method where the people, the
bypass
public,
the legislature, you're right. Exactly. I mean, that's the whole point.
You're absolutely right. Can bypass the legislature and implement that.
If one interest group doesn't like something, you can bypass the legislature. That's exactly what you're saying.
Let me ask you this, Paul. Last night, the night before, there was a meeting, right? There was a meeting, and the City Council heard the issue and spoke on the issue. I believe there was it Reno Gazette Journal reported more than 122 people. 122 people showed up, so there's 122 concerned citizens with this casino going down. So how much do their voices matter in this process?
I do want to. Can I bring up another issue here that addresses one of the things you were saying, Pam, which is that Plan didn't do a study when the El Dorado and Calneva wanted to put in a casino at McCarran and 4th. They didn't do an economic study on how that would affect downtown. When Harvey Whittemore and the Peppermill want to put a casino in Spanish Springs, Plan hasn't done a study to show what the economic effect will be on downtown Sparks. This was done deliberately because they were working on behalf of the Culinary Union, because the stations and the culinary have had this ongoing war.
And there are, as Alfredo said, there are some very real issues there with how employers treat their employees. Service industry jobs, we know, may or may not. I mean, how many of these jobs that they talk about creating are going to keep working families under the poverty line?
I think that's the real issue there.
But see, I disagree. I think Stations has done a pretty good job of taking care of their employees. I don't think that's the issue. I think this is an internal issue between the culinary and Stations, and whether that's, again, if there are issues with respect to how the labor issues are dealt with at that level, have that debate. But I haven't heard that. I have not heard of masses of employees at Stations getting out and picketing because there are issues. I think you've got a solid company that wants to come into Northern Nevada and put in a tremendous amount of capital, and I say let them.
Yeah, somebody said that if a couple of years ago somebody had offered to put an outhouse down there in South Reno, they would have thrown a ticker tape parade. This is a $500 million investment of confidence in Northern Nevada, and I invite, once again, we called the culinary to have representatives come on. I made an offer to Bob Fulkerson yesterday to come on the program and defend his bogus plan, and we'll see if they do. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Taharino Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
Yeah. I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers online at nevadanewsmakers.com.
Next week, we have Bill Raggio and Harry Reid.
Be some great shows. We'll see you then.